Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the Dundee Township Trustees regular meeting. It is Wednesday, September 16th at 7:02. And this meeting of the Dundee Township Board of Trustees will be held via telephone conference call in accordance with the Illinois Governor's executive orders and disaster declarations regarding COVID-19 pandemic. The general public had the opportunity to receive access to this meeting by requesting either by email or telephone by today at 5 p.m. to me, Supervisor Glees, access to the meeting. Governor Pritzker signed Senate Bill 2135 into law, which addresses electronic meetings during the time periods when the governor has issued a disaster declaration like the situation we are in now. Pursuant to this new law, the Dundee Board of Trustees meeting will be conducted by audio or video conference without a physically present quorum of this Dundee Township Board of Trustees. Because of a disaster declaration related to COVID-19's public health concerns affecting the township. Pursuant to the law, I, Patricia Trish Glees, have determined that an in-person meeting at the township building with all participants is not practical or is it prudent because of this disaster. Township officials, legal counsel, and the township administrator will not be physically present at the township building if that is unfeasible to due to this disaster. This meeting will also have a audio and video recording and will be made available to the public as provided by law, with all votes being done by roll call. I am estimating the video to be up and in place by Friday of this week. With that, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Can you affirm their attendance and whether you're physically present or remotely attending? Supervisor Glees.
Physical.
Trustee Harney. She's muted.
Remote.
Remote. Trustee Aherns.
Here and remote.
Trustee Johnson.
Remote.
And Trustee Schaffer.
Here and remote.
Thank you very much. With that, Highway Commissioner Sinnett, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the
flag
To the flag.
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic,
for which it stands,
For which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God, indivisible,
for all.
with liberty and justice for all.
liberty. Thank you very much. Okay, with that,
Supervisor Glees,
yes.
my audio is breaking up very badly. Is there another way to connect to audio?
Do you want to call in like you did last time on your phone?
I could use my phone for audio. How do I do that again?
George, hang on 1 minute. I'm going to text you just the dial-in portion of this meeting. So just give me a minute. Everyone, please hold. And George, when you dial in, don't forget to turn your computer audio off so that you don't get feedback. It is coming to you right now.
Which is
Bob, while we're waiting, and although this is being recorded, what course are you on and what hole?
This is Wingfoot site of the US Open starting tomorrow, and I believe it's the 18th hole.
Very nice. Okay. Can sort of see George. Let me see if I can. Go ahead and unmute yourself, George. Are you on your computer? Are you having a problem dialing in? Oh,
Trish, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me?
I'm dialing the 312 number, but it says enter your meeting ID. There's no place to enter it.
You got to enter it in the keypad. Enter the meeting ID in the keypad. And then the passcode. You do it right on the keypad because there should be no words. It's all numbers.
Is this possibly a text that I should be doing? Or is this a dial-in?
It's a dial-in, but are you having feedback now? Because we're hearing you clear. Can you hear us clearly? No, okay. So the text that I sent you had a 312 telephone number. Then after that, you have to put the meeting ID in. And then the passcode.
And I had to enter two things because it asked for a meeting ID, participant ID, and then a password. So I just repeated the password twice. But I don't know if he's having difficulty with the keypad, bringing it up on his phone, because he may just have the front display yet.
Oh, yeah. Hey, George. On your meeting notice, the dial-in.
Yes.
On your meeting notice,
I'm using the keypad to enter the.
Okay.
Here you come, George. Okay, George, can you hear me?
I'm getting good audio now.
Okay, what are...
Uh-oh, I'm hearing myself. I'm getting feedback.
Mute your computer. Or turn off your computer speakers. I don't know which one's easier.
I'm trying to find Says my microphone is already muted.
Turn your speakers off.
I'm not on speaker, I'm on Kindle.
Okay.
Okay, it says my microphone is muted.
But you're hearing yourself in your speakers. You have to turn your speakers off on your computer.
I don't have speakers, I'm on a Kindle.
Well, he's really echoing back to me.
Yeah, he's echoing back to everybody. So hang on 1 minute. Bob, any ideas how to? I'm not exactly sure how to mute it.
No.
Oh, hey, George, on your Kindle, can you make your sound, like mute your sound or bring it, drag the slider all the way over? And if you could see me, you'd see me doing the slider noise, the slider thing. I do have, hey, George, I do see you on the telephone. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, but I'm getting feedback again. Turn your...
What if I mute my phone? That didn't work.
No, you gotta mute the Kindle.
And turn the volume all the way down.
On the Kindle, yeah, can you turn the volume all the way down on the Kindle?
Let me try that. All right, it's all the way down.
Okay, say something, George.
The volume is all the way down on the Kindle.
Okay, let's see if you do it again.
Want me to speak again?
Yeah, I want you to speak. Just don't do the Gettysburg Address. All right, now I can't hear you. Can anybody else hear George?
Nope.
All right, George, my next suggestion would be you turn off the Kindle and just use your telephone.
All over again.
Okay, hey, George, can you hear me? No, I don't think I can hear him. I can't hear him. I can't. I see that. Oh,
Is he connected right now?
I see that his telephone is connected, but we can't hear each other.
So maybe his speaker on the phone needs to go up and he needs to make sure the Kindle's turned off. And then we can
Okay.
just do audio.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he can hear us. That's the problem.
Hey, Trish, text me.
Yes. I'm texting. Yeah, I am texting him. Okay. Ken, say something.
I'm here.
Richard, say something.
Something.
Sue, say something.
Something.
Okay, you're fine. We got you. Okay. All right, so George just turned off his phone, so he must be coming in again. Okay, here comes George again. Trustee Johnson, can you hear me? Trustee Johnson, can you hear me?
Oh, that's beautiful. I just logged in all over again.
Okay, beautiful. All right, we're all set
Oh,
then.
now your audio is not there.
Can you hear me now?
I heard the very first thing you said.
Okay, how would you like to just dial into the meeting via audio only? And we won't see your pretty face. Does that work for you? I'm wondering if George is having internet problems. Bob, are you seeing
I
any?
heard that perfectly.
Okay, I'm seeing lag on my side. Bob, are you seeing lag on your side?
No?
Okay, George, move your head.
I just
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I just went to settings and I'm getting perfect audio, but I have no video now.
Okay, that's why we can't see you. Okay, are you okay with that?
I guess that's going to have to do.
Okay, all right, because you're frozen on my screen, so that's okay. You're good. We see we do see your face, and you're just not in motion. Okay.
All right.
All right. With
Sorry
that,
about that. I don't know what's happening.
that's okay. I think it's the internet. Wait, Mike, you can't hear me. Mike, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can anybody tell me, is there a storm coming?
Yes, there is. There's one to the north of us.
Okay, that could be electricity. Mike, hang on. Mike, I am going to try to mute you and unmute you. Try to unmute yourself now. Come on, Mike, say something to me.
Talking.
There you go. You're just really quiet.
Really?
Yes.
This again.
Yeah. All right, we can hear you now.
Wow. Okay, good.
Okay, we're going to keep you right where you're at. Okay, with that, Scott did the Pledge of Allegiance. I am now looking for a motion to approve or amend the agenda as presented. I need a first.
So moved.
Trustee Schaefer.
I have Trustee Harney for the first, and do I have a second?
Johnson.
Trustee Schaefer.
Okay. Trustees, I can't see any of you now, so you need to tell me who you are. Sue, I can assume a female voice is you. With that, Is there any discussion? Hearing that there is no discussion, I am going to call for a voice vote. Supervisor Glees, yes. Trustee Aherns,
Yes.
Trustee Harney,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaffer.
Yes.
Thank you very much. With that, I am looking for a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes from the August 19th, 2020 Board of Trustees regular meeting. I need a
So moved.
first. Trustee Schaffer,
Trustee Schaefer.
Aaron,
Trustee Schaefer.
Trustee Ahern second. I'm sorry, I did not fall out of my chair. I just dropped my mouse. Do we have any discussion on the minutes? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for a voice vote. Supervisor Glees, yes. Trustee Aherns,
yes.
Trustee Harney,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaffer.
Yes.
Thank you. I am now looking for a motion to approve or amend the treasurer's report through August 31st, 2020, and the financial statements through September 15th, 2020, along with the review of the bank statements. Can I have a motion to approve? I need a first.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second, Aaron.
Thank you. With that, I asked Trustee Johnson to pick a bank account to review. Trustee Johnson, can you name the bank account?
All right. I will pick bank account that ends in 2802, the Road and Bridge Equipment.
28. Okay. Office Manager Block, can you please give me that number?
Okay, how about 239,630.66?
That corresponds.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions about financials, the treasurer's report rather? Okay, seeing that there is no other questions, can a voice vote? Supervisor Glees, yes. Trustee Aherns,
Yes.
Trustee Harney,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaffer.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We will move on to reports. Trustees, do any of you have a report?
I do. This is Johnson.
Thank you. Go ahead.
This will be of interest to some of the trustees. It regards the sale of a piece of property, approximately 5 acres adjacent to the Dixie Briggs Preserve, formerly owned by Peter Briggs. It has been purchased by a neighbor, Armand Revisa. And I regard this as good news because Armand Revisa's objective is to prevent development of that piece of property. And this just recently took place. That's
Very
it.
good. Very good.
Very good.
Any other trustees? Okay. Going in a semi-order as how I see you in the grid. Assessor Bielak, do you have a report?
Yes, yes, I do. We are busy working on our appeals for 2020 tax year. I am currently in Peoria in class all week. I did have to rearrange my schedule. It's like the third time I've had to rearrange the schedule this year because of COVID. And so that's where I'm at right now, taking classes, and I have a test Friday. Big news also, we have an employee who recently decided to retire. She's had for 30 years, that's Nancy Cook. I sent out the email today. She was, her 30 years expired, I think, in June, and I had talked her into staying for the remainder of the year. But once she realized she was not going to get a raise this year, she decided to retire and did that way. So, I've done her 30 years. She's I enjoy a good life now. So,
Assessor Bielak, would you like me to read the announcement and tribute that you wrote on your behalf?
You could. Thank you.
Okay. I had asked Assessor Bielak, because this will go into this month's newsletter, and this is what he wrote. In honor of 30 years of township service, we announced the retirement of Nancy Cook. Nancy started her career with the assessor's office back in 1990. Back then, the relatively new office was in the basement of the Dundee Township Library located on Barrington Avenue in East Dundee. Throughout the years, Nancy gained a wealth of knowledge. She was on the front lines, taking calls from taxpayers and real estate professionals. She is known to her co-workers not only being a dedicated public servant, but also the human encyclopedia of local township knowledge. I will attest to that. She knew all the streets, the subdivisions, the developers, and the who of Dundee Township. If you wanted information about anything in Dundee Township, just ask Nancy. Nancy will be greatly missed. Her contributions and dedication to her job was and continues to be an asset to all who worked with her and to the taxpayers of our communities. Nancy looks forward to spending time with her family, fishing at her daughter's lake house, and taking a trip out west to visit Nancy. On behalf of the township did give Nancy a retirement card, wishing her all the best on her next adventures.
Thank you, Trish. Yeah, it's too bad for COVID right now. We did have a little party for her. It was a very little party, just the assessor's office.
Mike, we're losing your audio. Sorry.
You get so close to this, and I'll block the video or my teeth or whatever. I'm sorry. It's unfortunate COVID. I wish we could have had a bigger party for her, but it is what it is.
This is Johnson. I'm not getting Mike's audio at all.
Yeah. Mike moved away from his speaker, and now we can't hear him again.
Are you guys all using Bluetooth? Sometimes it's better not to.
I am this far away from my microphone.
Yeah, Mike, no one's using, Mike, so, Mike, any other questions or comments? Mike is waving goodbye, so I'm assuming he's done with us. Next up is Highway Commissioner Sinnett. If you would unmute yourself, sir, and do you have a report?
I couldn't make that out. Who did you ask?
Highway Commissioner Sinnett.
Okay.
Oh, no.
There you go, Scott. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so, well, we've had a lot of rain and, that's constant, keeping up with the drainage and the ditches and all that. And during the course of those storms, we had two guardrails that were trashed over on Duncan Avenue, and two separate accidents, actually. We have to go in with estimates to get the repairs done, and hopefully their people's insurance companies are going to pay for it. And we're doing a bunch of trimming and mowing and the things we do in summer. Right now we've been focused for the last couple of days over at Hickory Hollow and Sleepy Hollow. We have to replace two big culverts and about 70 feet of the concrete curbing. It's the last house, it's come in, it's the first house on the corner, but on the right. Anyway, that's going well, and I hope to be wrapping that up in about a week. So that's really about it.
Very good. While I have you, how are you doing on your PPE supplies? Are you okay?
Yeah, we got plenty.
Excellent. Thank you.
Actually, the guys are cleaning the trucks every day too when they come in. We kind of made it part of the ritual. I have it written down here, but I just buzzed right over it. So.
Okay. Trustees, do you have any questions for the highway commissioner?
This is Johnson. I do.
Go ahead.
I didn't hear any of what Scott said initially there. Maybe he already mentioned this. I've been hearing that there's some union organizing activity in the highway department, and I wondered if Commissioner Sinnett would give us an update on what's going on there.
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me okay?
We
I
can hear you.
now, yeah.
Okay, so this kind of came up with somebody, I'm not really sure exactly who, but somebody overheard somebody else talking about firing
Oh,
everybody.
now your audio just cut out again.
Hey,
Hello.
Commissioner Sinnett, can you start over again?
Yeah. So, how did this
Can
come
you hear me?
about?
Yes, George, we can hear you.
This is tough. Can you hear me now?
We
I'm
can
gonna
hear you.
turn the Kindle off and go all audio.
Okay.
I'm going to turn the Kindle off and go all audio.
Okay.
I can't hear anything.
Okay. Scott, can you hold just one moment, please?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Mike. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mike.
I would like to suggest that at next month's meeting, all the officials attend in person and everybody else goes remote. This is ridiculous. This is not working very well. And we have some very important stuff to go over coming up.
Duly noted, sir. George, are you back? I believe that George just disconnected himself, or his Wi-Fi just went out.
Trish, can you repeat what Mike said? Because I could not hear what he said.
Mike would like to propose that we meet in person, and I said I would take that under advisement.
Just the officials would meet at the meeting. Because we can social distance with just the officials, I believe.
Okay. You are seeing me look away from the camera, and I am grabbing my cell phone, and I am texting Trustee John. Oh, he just came back in. Let's see. Trustee Johnson, are you there?
I am here.
Okay.
I'm getting you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. All right, Highway Commissioner Sinnett, can you please, and the question that Trustee Johnson asked was about unions, I think.
Yeah, how did it all come about? So, okay, so somebody was talking about taking all the guys and firing them and rehiring them for half the money. And evidently it got back to all the people that I work with, and they were very upset. That's why we're going to the union tomorrow for the first meeting. And I advise anybody who's got something to say it to me before you start spreading any more rumors, because this is, I don't know where this goes after this. Well, we're gonna find out.
So I guess the question before you, Scott, that I have is, are you planning on forming a union?
I don't think we have a choice. You gotta have somebody to work. I mean, they're gonna mirror our people. They're gonna get the book from Kane County, and then they're gonna kind of try to mirror that as much as they can. I don't think it's gonna really be that much change, but I think it'll be a guarantee where right now there isn't any. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
This is Trustee Schaffer. I don't think Scott has any choice in the matter. I think that the employees are the ones that get to make that decision. And,
Yes, I believe you're correct.
Yeah, there will have to be a vote to form a bargaining unit. This is Kurt Asford, by the way.
right.
Thank you, Kurt.
So I just want to make sure it's not Scott pushing this or not pushing it. He is responding to things going on in his department.
That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
This is Johnson with a follow-up question. Is this meeting with a particular union? Like the Teamsters or the...
Yeah, Teamsters.
It's the Teamsters. Will there be a vote involved?
Yes.
Do you know when to expect that?
I don't. I'll know more after tomorrow. Tomorrow's the
Okay.
first. So,
Thank you.
yeah, you bet.
Are there any other questions for the Highway Commissioner?
Oh, I thought of one more. This is Johnson again.
Okay.
I had also heard through the grapevine that you have hired someone. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Young man, 18 years old. He's doing fantastic. He's already got his written part done on the CDL. He's got a lot of talent, and he's been working with the guys every day. As soon as we get this project done, I think we're going in to get his license, and all's going very well with that. So,
How does that?
be?
what's that?
How can that be? A CDL license, you have to be 21.
No, you don't. 18, I believe.
I think it's 21.
Well, then, whatever it is, he is of age. I know. We made sure of that. I thought it was 18. It was 18 when I got mine.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll ensure that all the right T's are crossed and I's are dotted with that, I'm sure. Okay.
Follow-up question. How does that leave staffing as far as the department is concerned now?
What do you mean? I'm not sure.
Have you got holes to fill? Have you got vacancies or?
I think we're going to be okay. We might have.
I'm sorry, that broke up.
I think we're going to be okay. I'm still down a slot, and if I can't find anybody else, we'll have to make it do. But, Mitch is going to retire in December, and so that's not helping things either. So I figured we could get this young guy on quickly here, and that, like I said, that's all going very well. And we're probably going to have to get another guy before the snow really flies. So I think I'm going to start advertising for that also.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions for the Highway Commissioner? Okay, seeing that there are no other questions.
Question.
Office Manager, do you have anything?
Can you hear me? This is Mike.
Yes, Mike.
I have a question for Scott.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Scott, did you advertise that position that you just filled?
Yeah. No, you know what? This was a word of mouth one, this one. He just kind of walked in and he asked us, what our position was, and I started talking to him, and we thought we'd give him a chance. So
Thank you.
I am going to run an ad, though, to answer your question.
Run an ad for what?
More help, another driver.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for the highway commissioner? Okay, office manager, do you have any report?
No,
Okay. I'll go to the open space report. You all have a copy of it. We've been mowing, we've been preparing. I've been told the cardinal flower has shown itself. And there's been a couple trees that we've had to cut down. And we're just continuing with the herbiciding and just making sure trails are done. Jelky Creek got a tonnage of crushed rock in the worn places. And at Dixie Briggs West, the new trailhead has been put in place. So now, although there is no parking, and please let me repeat that, there is no parking, you can now essentially walk down Lundstrom and can walk into Dixie Briggs from that section.
Trish, this is Johnson. I think you said west. I think you meant east.
I'm sorry, I meant east. I'm sorry. Thank you, George. I meant east. Because Lundstrom Road. And then this past weekend, although they did not use our side of Raceway, MERPA had their auto show. And so we just did, we prepped and make sure the garbage cans were clean, as we knew people would be parking in the Huntley parking lot and walking up to there. And that's all I have for open space. As you read the report, were there any questions?
Yeah, Jelky Creek. I stopped over there again the other day and had lunch.
Okay.
A lot of people are using that at lunchtime anyhow. The parking lot was literally full.
Okay.
But what I seen there, you've got a cable across the road there.
To go into Jelky Creek, right? To go
Yes.
into the property, yes.
Yes, and I seen 3 people, actually it was more than that, more people, they tried to step over that, and I seen 3, unfortunately, 3 women tripped. One did fall, and the other 2 caught themselves. I would suggest putting a post in close by and hooking that so there'd be an opening they could walk through, and that way your cable could still be there, but yet you'd have an area for them to walk through there.
Okay, so the entranceway, and I will take a look and talk to the guys, but the entranceway is about 30 yards to the west where the pavilion is, and that's where the entrance gate is, if you will.
People ain't walking down the proper way. I agree with that.
Yeah.
They are
Okay.
not walking down to the opening in the walkway where it's supposed to be. They're stepping over that cable.
Okay, I will go out there and take a look with Kirby to see if there's anything we can do to either discourage it or make it easier.
It don't look too hard to crack. Just put a post in, hook your cable to the post, and you give them a 3-foot opening between where they're at now.
Yeah, but that opening is wide enough for us to get all the trucks through.
You could kind of hide it, the post behind that big rock. There'd be no problem.
Okay, I'll have the guys take a look at that.
I'm just suggesting.
No, that's a very fine suggestion. Well, I'll take a look at it.
That's all.
Okay. Any other comments for open space? Okay. I am going to give my report. which includes COVID updates. As of today, Governor Pritzker has extended the moratorium on evictions. We do not have an end date anymore. So I don't know if we're going still on a 30-day or if this is just a moratorium until further notice. ComEd and the gas company will not be disconnecting service until the spring of 2021 when they are legally allowed to after the winter. 3 villages in the township have started to issue late payments for water, but no villages disconnecting. I have applied for the township portion of the COVID CARES money, which is being administered through Kane County. Our ask was $277,000. At the same time, I am applying for the local CARES program, which is the state's, is almost the same, it's the state's version of the CARES program. It gets dispensed by the state. I will note, we only get one or the other. We don't get both of them. So I will keep you apprised of where our COVID money's coming from. Some general updates, and this one makes me very proud to say. Our open space burn boss, Andy, is currently on a fire assignment with IDNR's fire management. He has been deployed out west. He will be back at the end of the month. And so as far as I know from the last text, he's doing well. And finally, on September 19th, which is this Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 11, State Representative Moeller and State Senator Castro are hosting a Township Shred Day. The location is the Rack House Senior Center. You can bring anything that needs to be shredded. It can have paper clips and staples, but no, it says, all paper materials will be accepted. Small paper clips and staples do not need to be removed. And they will accept shredding until the shred trucks are full. Does anybody have a question for me and my supervisor's report?
This is Johnson. I do.
Yes, sir.
About 3 days ago, an acquaintance of mine called me up and said, "What's the $100,000 for?" And I had to say, "I don't know what you're talking about." And she referred me to an article in the Daily Herald from September the 7th, in which Supervisor Patricia Glees has said that the proposed tax increase would generate an additional $700,000 in revenue in the first year, and that she expected to use $350,000 of it for the general fund, $200,000 for the open space fund, $50,000 for the cemetery fund, and $100,000 for general assistance. And this was the article in the media that my friend was referring to.
Correct.
What is the basis for those financial allocations?
So that was an article which we were not interviewed. They used our meeting minutes from our website when we approved the levy increase. And at that time, I told you, I gave you an idea of what the allocations would look like.
That was on the website?
Well, the meeting minutes were on the website. We talked about this before we approved the referendum for the budget levy increase, which is coming onto the ballot on the November 3rd election.
Can you refer me to the minutes that that's contained in?
Bob, can you handle that?
Sure.
Okay, Bob will get those to you.
Okay. Second part about that is, if there is a release to the media like this, it is behooving on you to notify the trustees so that we're not blindsided with questions from
George,
a residence like this.
We did not release any of the information. They took it directly from our meeting minutes. When I found out about it, the day the paper reported that, I called the paper to ask who the reporter was, because it's a reporter unknown to us, and they never returned my call. So we did
Well,
not,
if you,
we did not make that report. We did not write the report. It was a report that was written about several different entities in the area. And I'm sorry, I did not send you a note that we were in the paper.
right, we need a heads up on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I only got a heads up because Mike didn't pick up his paper and I read it. So.
Yeah, I think it was an online edition of this paper, thedailyherald.com.
I don't know if it was online. I saw it in the hard copy.
Oh, you did. Okay, well, enough said.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. With that, I am going to see if Kane County Board Member Chris Kiles has anything to say. So hold on 1 minute while I find him and ask him to unmute. County Board Member Chris Kiles, could you please unmute yourself, and do you have a report for us?
Sorry, I have to find my mute button there. It all
That's
went
okay.
to sleep. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine, thank you.
Great, thank you. And thank you for having me to speak. Just a couple points to touch on. I'm filled with gratitude and joy that you got your application in for the CARES Act funds. And hopefully that'll go smoothly through the process with our contractor to allow those funds, to verify them, and you'll receive the money shortly. I think the next meeting for the CARES Act or the CAC committee is going to be October 10th, because right now we're also have released $8 million, or have appropriated $8 million to small business, and the forms were just presented, and there will be a webinar on how to fill out the forms to apply for the $8 million, the $8 million for small businesses in Kane County. On other fronts, the KDOT meeting this week, we were presented with a draft of the Kane County 2050 Long Range Transportation Plan, and I believe it's available for comment, and it's on the public record as it was released in the minutes. So if you have comments on KDOT's plans for the long range plans, they can be made at any time. Also in environment, energy and environment, we're working on the final draft of the 5-year solid waste plan for Kane County and unincorporated areas. If you have any comments, that can be submitted online, and it will be included in the appendices for the 5-year solid waste plan, which includes recycling. Back to transportation, Long Meadow Parkway is well underway on the east side from 25 to Sandbloom, and the finishing date is estimated to be in July 2021 for the bridge to be hooked up, I believe, and that section completed. That's the final section of the Long Meadow Parkway. And finally, the census, I believe the last numbers I saw was that Illinois was up to 97.1% have submitted or responded to the individuals that are collecting data. So it sounds good. It's almost as good as, I think Idaho had 99.1% or 7%, really very high, but it's well above average of the states. And the census is expected to be completed, I believe, September 30th. And
So
I think that's all I have, unless you have some questions.
Mr. Kyles, what date did you say?
September 30.
Okay. Thank you.
More information on the census can be found at 2020census.gov or just census.gov.
Excellent. All right. Trustees, do you have any questions for County Board Member Kyles? Okay, I can't see anything and I don't hear anything. So,
Sounds like me on this end. No,
yeah.
the audio has been really good on this end, on just the phone-in section.
Excellent.
And thank you
All
for having this, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and mute you again. Thank you. Thank you. We don't have a cemetery board report. Do we have a clerk report?
No.
Okay. I don't believe we have a 708 mental health board report, or at least I don't think so. And, okay. With that, we will move on to public comments. Oh, I'm sorry. Kurt, do you have an attorney's report for us?
No report tonight. Thank you, though.
Thank you, thank you. All right, with that, we'll go to public comments and or questions. I will unmute you one at a time. If you want to speak, just say your name. If you choose not to speak, say pass. Public questions will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The supervisor, clerk, assessor, highway commissioner, and trustees will not respond to questions during the public comment period. Any follow-up comments will be made at the discretion of the elected official. It is 7:58 and I am going to open it up one at a time. When I say your name or your telephone number, please let me know if you'd like to speak or say pass. Starting with number 858. I am asking you to unmute. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, Paul Setz. I'm going to change my orientation here on my comments from my past comments, and it goes as follows. I fail to understand why the township has 2 websites. One of them, DundeeTownship.org, is overseen by Supervisor Glees. The other, DundeeTownship.com, appears to be controlled by the assessor. I come to this conclusion because the registrant contact for the domain is NJS Enterprise, Inc., which also supplies software for property assessments. It seems to me that there should be one website overseen by the supervisor's office for 3 reasons. Reason 1 is that the supervisor, overseen by an elected board, is responsible for the information conveyed to the public. Reason 2 is that it can be confusing for Dundee Township residents that 2 websites exist. And reason 3 is that taxpayer money and presumably some effort is being used to maintain 2 websites, which from my perspective is a needless duplication. If the reason for maintaining 2 websites is that some are used to going to one of them instead of the other, and that removing one would cause confusion, I have a simple response. Anyone with a rudimentary understanding of how the internet works knows that any internet address can be reconfigured to point to another internet address, something known as redirecting. I urge the board to fund a single website and that the responsibility be given to the township supervisor, whoever that is at any given point in time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Setz. Do you have any other comments?
That will do it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute you again. Okay, 711, Mr. Kemp. would you like to make a comment? Would you like to unmute yourself?
Can you unmute, Trish?
I've asked him to unmute, and Mr. Kemp, I'm hoping you can hear me. When you can unmute yourself, just interrupt us. Or please politely interrupt us and we will bring your comments on. The next person is Miss Meyer. Miss Meyer, would you like to unmute yourself, and do you have a comment?
No comment, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Kemp, I'm going to try to unmute you one more time. Mr. Kemp, I am going to put you back in the waiting room and bring you back on. You should be unmuted at that time per my instructions from Zoom. So hold on. I have moved Mr. Kemp to the waiting room and I'm now readmitting him. He should be readmitted with his phone unmuted. Mr. Kemp, do you have a comment? Okay. Not hearing a comment from Mr. Kemp, I will move on and close out public comments. I will then be directing everyone to new business. This is the renewal of the initial documentation on the establishment of elected officials' compensation for the period of 2021-2025, the assessor 2022-2026. I provided you all with an email. One thing that I would like to discuss tonight is the clerk. As you know, with the 2018 law that said an elected official could not be an employee of any township or municipality, we had to scramble to find a clerk. Per the document that I provided you, the clerk right now makes $3,000. I provided you the yellow book description of what a township clerk does. Were you all able to read that? And did you understand it? Do I have any comments? Did I lose you all?
Trustee Schaffer, I just don't know what your idea was or where you wanted to start discussion. So would like to know that.
So I wanted to start at least tonight to have a discussion about at least the clerk. I don't think any of the other elected officials are really in any position whatsoever to talk about what they think compensation for that position is. As I said, the clerk makes $3,000 a year, and at the time of the setting of November 2016, the clerk was also the office manager. So the number or the pay was incorporated that way. As we go forward, I put all the clerks that I could find of only the Kane County townships, because that is really all I believe that we should ever consider ourselves, since that is the county in which we sit. And so our nearest per capita would be Aurora and Elgin, and then St. Charles. And so if you look at that, it goes anywhere from $6,000 all the way up to $15,000. What, you know, in the book, it specifies what the clerk does. And, you know, just for the edification of the people on this call, the township clerk's duties include township meeting and minute taking, giving notice of all meetings, keeper of the records, the administrator of oaths. They authorize, or they can authorize deputy clerks. They do certificate issuance. They handle resignations and appointment notices, and that's resignation of elected officials. Our township clerk is not a member of the 708 board, as we do not meet the resident requirements. So I guess, you know, if we're going to have to put a dart, you know, if we're going to have to throw something at the wall, what's going to get somebody to take this elected position? Now, I'm going to caveat that if no one takes the position, the next board, meaning the next supervisor and the next trustees, would then appoint one. But the salary has to still be set by the November date. So I'm thinking something in the $6,000 range. What are you guys thinking?
Harney here. I don't think it makes much difference between 6,000 and 3,000. I think that's a formidable list of duties, and unfortunately, we're not in a position to raise a salary, you know, that covers all those things. And what it's been my experience that elected officials actually don't have to show up to work, and so we would very likely get a clerk who would not do a lot of this stuff or not do it faithfully, and then it devolves to a deputy clerk, which is usually the office manager anyway. And so I guess I'm not real excited about paying much more, if any at all.
Okay.
If I understood Sue right, I don't think there should be any raise whatsoever. I think $3,000 is plenty for the clerk that we have here for Dundee Township.
Okay. So the clerk, so just, you know, just for everybody to understand, the clerk is an elected official. So presumably somebody is going to pull the candidate paperwork, would run as a clerk and would win the job. If not, we would then the next board would do the appointing. So I'm okay with leaving it at 3,000. You know, I just wanted it to get out there, you know, because this is something that it does takes due diligence, and it does, and Trustee Harney, I agree with you. A clerk doesn't have to show up and a clerk doesn't do anything, and then it defaults to either the supervisor or an office manager or some other employee, as it happens in many other townships that end up doing the work. So I thought if we went to $6,000, that we would get somebody who would be truly interested in doing it. I don't know. Trustee Johnson or Trustee Schaffer, do you have anything to say to that?
I have a question. This is Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I need my memory refreshed here. Sure. Essentially, we looked at this as splitting Bob Block's job because of the legal requirement. And I know we allocated $3,000 for Annabelle Block as in the office of clerk.
Right.
Was that $3,000 affected? Did that affect Bob's compensation?
Yes, Bob lost $3,000.
second question is, this is a tough time to think about this because you're looking at that tax referendum and there's a great deal of uncertainty as to whether we're going to be going backwards financially.
Right.
And we won't know the answer to that until late spring.
No, we'll know that answer November.
Oh,
On
is that right?
November 4th, we'll know the answer whether or not the levy passed. And at the November meeting, I am looking away from the camera again. At the November 18th meeting, we are going to be required by law to set all elected officials' salaries.
Okay, thank you.
So this is food for thought. This is kind of the nugget that's really hard to do, because we, up until 2018, Bob was the elected official and Bob was the office manager. Going into this.
Follow-up question, Trish.
Sure.
And this might be uncomfortable. Maybe you don't want to answer this, or Bob doesn't want to comment on it, but is Bob still doing the work?
Yes.
Okay.
Him and Annabelle are doing all the work.
Oh, Annabelle is participant in this.
Right, because she has to sign my warrants and essentially is keeper of records. Yes.
Thank you.
How many, Aaron's here, how many hours a month does Annabelle work? Or I should say, does the clerk work now? I shouldn't be using names.
That's a good question. If a clerk does all of the clerk duties, okay, that are listed in the Township Officials of Illinois Laws and Duties Handbook, revised 2019. On average, it's somewhere between 20 and 60 hours a month. It really depends on the size of the township, the amount of meeting time, that we sit in meetings, and, note taking, etc. So it varies right across the board. So you would say on the low end, 20 hours, on the high end, 60. Probably, budget meetings, reviewing budgets, when we have a lot of, I guess our warrants are always our warrants. That, warrants are bills, by the way, for anybody who's questioning what a warrant is. So somewhere in that ballpark.
Thank you.
So a decision does not have to be made today. There is no decision because we have nothing to vote or approve. I just wanted to start the initial review. And then I would like the elected officials to think about what their jobs are, particularly the highway commissioner and the assessor, and I will do this myself, and what your duties are, providing an outline or a presentation for the trustees, so that a reasonable request or reasonable understanding of what your job entails, how many hours you work, etc., what your low times are, what your high times are, so that as November comes, this review of initial documentation of the establishment of the elected officials' compensation, this will sit on the agenda until, well, in October, and then in November, it will move to an action item. So, the more information that we can provide to the trustees, and trustees, I'm kind of speaking on behalf of you, and you can correct me, the more information we can provide to you, the better understanding of what the job entails and the amount of hours does make it easier for you to help set compensation. Is that a correct statement?
Fair.
Trustee Aherns, did you say something?
I said it was fair.
Yes, okay. All right. Then,
Just Trustee Schaffer,
yes.
I would like to please put some input in.
Mhm.
So I did note that on the agenda, and I think that we need to lead by example. We didn't give raises this year. And I think across the board, I would even consider cutting some of the salaries for elected officials. So it's going to create some issues, but I think that for the positions that we have, I think that some of the positions may need to have salary cuts in them to lead as an example, regardless of whether the referendum passes or not. Because I don't think we have done our due diligence in the past budgets, the past several years, and everybody thinks they're just going to get a big increase when the new salaries are established. And from my standpoint, I don't feel that that is necessary. So I'm setting the groundwork for further discussion.
Excellent. Excellent.
I would like to climb on that one. I would totally support, speaking of the trustee salaries, and this may be controversial, a sizable cut, excuse me, in the trustees. Sorry, got something caught in my throat here.
God bless you.
He's all choked.
Well, I think you got the message.
Yeah. So you're George, you're even advocating for a cut in the trustees. Okay. And that's something, that's something I can provide. I will have, by next meeting, I will have all of the salaries from all of the townships. I will have that document ready. The supervisors are still, the Kane County supervisors are working on that across the board. But we will have, we have said we'd have it ready by about the 15th of October. So as soon as I have that, I will share that spreadsheet with you. So you can see across the board what a particular role is doing, along with the, you can look in the yellow book to see what the duties are and what above and beyond the duties are that are maintained by each elected official. And then you can, as I said, as October and November comes, I do believe it's fair for the, at least for us 3 elected officials, the supervisor, the assessor, and the highway commissioner, to give you an idea of what the job entails so that you can make a consent, you can take into account everything, when it comes to compensation. Okay.
Aaron's here.
Can I ask,
Yeah.
Mrs. Johnson, can I ask a very loosely related question about the clerk?
Sure.
Are we in the township offices going to be hosting early voting this year?
We have been removed from the Kane County early voting list. We were one of the sites. We were one of the sites that were cut. And they cut us in the primary, the 2020 primary. We were cut.
Okay, maybe that should be on the website too, because I think a lot of people just go to the same place out of habit.
It is on the door, and you are correct. I'll do a little article on the website, and I'll get something up tomorrow or Friday. But yeah, they apparently they did not have enough election judges. I think that's what the title's called. So they've limited the spots.
Aaron's here.
Okay, go ahead.
When you talked about you're comparing us with Aurora and Elgin, population-wise, are we compared with them, or are we?
Those are our closest townships. In the email that I provided you population, EVA, and levy. When I say those are our closest population and levy narratives. Now, I'm going to say one thing. Campton has a large levy, but that is because they have bonds. They have several bonds open, as does Geneva. So they have a lot. Their levies look really, really. I'm sorry. Campton, and Blackberry. So they kind of look skewed a little bit. But those are population-wise, Aurora, it goes population, it goes Aurora, Elgin, Dundee, then St. Charles, and then it drops, it drops drastically. Batavia comes next. So it would not be fair when you look at compensation, it's not fair to look at a Blackberry that only, a Big Rock that only has 1,800 residents. It's not fair to look at them in consideration to us. And if we just look at the clerks, they only have 1,800 people and their clerk makes $5,000. So their clerk makes $2,000 more than us. But as I said, there's a reason for it. When the last board set the compensation, it was a combined position. So, so I'm just saying, when you look at it, kind of look at, there are no apples to apples. You got to look at kind of apples and Granny Smiths. And I mean, we're in the like categories, Richard.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Assessor Bielak and Highway Commissioner Sinnett, if you want to follow up with me, or if you have any questions about kind of the expectations of the board or a presentation or what you should have, you can reach out to me directly. Otherwise, I believe you guys understand what what the board is probably looking for so that we can do fair compensation packages. With that, I would like to move on to the presentation and review of slides on the breakdown of expenses for fiscal year 2021. George, you at the last meeting asked for changes. In your packet, you received 2 of them. You received one, which was total expenditures by department fiscal year 20, and then total expenditures by department fiscal year 2021. As you look at those pie charts, other than the clerk's office, which always, no matter how it's sliced, comes up 0. Thoughts? Is this something more to akin to your liking?
Yes. I'm trying to find the attachments on the email. Not that one.
While George is looking for the attachments, Trustee Harney, do you have something to say?
I have a question, Chris.
Sure.
Just a question. Do I understand correctly that the revised pie charts now put the ride and cane program in the social services?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so the ride and cane program is no longer in the supervisors.
Hope you understood her.
I did. I got very close. Yes.
It's now in the social services part of the pie chart.
So Trustee Harney, correct. We took ride and cane out of the supervisor's pie slice and put it into social services. That is correct.
That, Johnson here, that is what I hoped you would do. I certainly agree with that.
Yeah, that's what you asked. That was following what your request was, I think.
Can I ask a question then?
Sure.
This is very much what I was looking for. In the supervisors section, 601,000, can you describe the major elements of that for refreshing my memory? Is that let's see, the assessor's office obviously is not included in that because that's the green slice of the pie.
I understood that correctly.
Mm-hmm. So
wait,
what
hang on one minute.
Bob,
could you please provide what?
Well, the largest part, of course, is salary and salary-related expenses. Taking open space out of that, it is roughly about 230,000 of the 600. You have the contractual expenses for things like legal, telephone, building maintenance, and you remove riding cane, you're at about 70,000 there. And then you have the some of the COVID CARES Act expenditures. Then you have Mike's department is separate. And then you have the general assistance, which is part of social services.
Thank you. Now, elected officials' salaries, the assessor's salary is in the green slice?
No, that's in the supervisor section.
Okay.
Because all elected officials are part of the town fund.
Okay, and this reflects no road district expenditures at all, right? Oh,
Expenditures except the 1/2 of the highway commissioner's salary.
correct, right.
The
Right.
IGA is there.
Okay. Yeah, that's very much what I was looking for, and it's a good subject for reflecting strategic priorities when we talk about budgets next time. I'm looking at the 2020. I don't have the 21 open, but I assume that it's parallel.
Right, yes, it has the same, it has supervisor, social services, open space, clerk, and assessors, except it's year to date, so it's not a closed budget. So obviously the numbers are not the same.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is good. And it certainly makes it appear that, at least optically, that our social services component is substantial.
Well, you're looking at 2020. If you, I don't know if you have 2021, but if we take a look, and I know you don't have it open, but just because people are online and can't necessarily see me, I'm going to go in the clerk's office. It has 0%. Open space has, for year to date, fiscal year 2021, is just a little over 99,000 or 15%. The assessor's office is at 189,000, a little over that, or 29% of the pie. Social services is 66,000 or 10% of the pie. And the supervisors is 294, a little bit more than that, or 46% of the pie.
Question, Johnson.
Yep.
Why is social services shrunken from the full year 20 version of this?
Because of COVID. So because the fact that we are not, since emergency assistance, since you can't be evicted, you can't have your electric turned off, you can't have your gas turned off, those numbers are down. We are going to get nailed in 2021. And I do want to make a correction. Algonquin, the village of, is turning off people's water. I read my notes incorrectly. So 2 villages, all 3 villages are doing, one village, Algonquin, is turning off the water. East Dundee and Carpentersville and West Dundee are only assessing late fees.
Okay.
So that
on social
number,
services,
yeah.
Johnson again, on social services, is COVID impacting ride and cane ridership?
Yes, we are in, I can look up the number, in general across the program, for the last week, because I get this by week, so just 1 minute, ridership, Ridership, this would be the week ending August 31st. We had 100, this is through the county, okay, through, I don't have specifically for us. We are at 134 trips a day. We would normally be over 1,000 trips. So it is, people are not either going to work or are not, you know, seeing doctors as frequent. They're definitely not going out and socializing. So our ridership is down.
That's remarkable.
So when you look at fiscal year 2021, you've got to put COVID glasses on, because COVID has just thrown us literally into a tizzy. I don't think anything in the budget, you know, other than the commodities that we would normally use, the gas, the electric, the auto fuel, stuff like that, we're going to be very skewed. So what you may believe as this incredible savings, it really isn't, because we are going to see 100-fold as the spring of 2021 starts, and either evictions start happening or the gas starts turning off, the electric starts turning off. We're going to be inundated.
Yeah, interesting, the effects of this. Metra is wondering if it can stay in business because the ridership is down so far.
Is down so far, right? That's a huge thing, right?
I think it's down to 10% of normal.
Mm-hmm. And that was, you know, something talked about at the last paratransit meeting, is that how long can the sponsors, the sponsors, you know, how long can the bus and the taxis keep working with the sponsors, kind of thing?
Well, all in all, 2021 is not going to be a good year to assess whether our priorities are what we want them to be, because it's an anomaly year.
Yes.
It's probably going to use 20 as the basis for deciding whether we're getting the bang for the buck in the right places. But very good, Bob. This is what I was hoping to see.
Right.
Trustee Schaffer, it would be nice to see the total budget for 21 as a comparison, because we are getting skewed on the current expenditures because of the activities that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Is it difficult to do the fiscal year 21 for budget? And I'm with George. This looks really nice.
Oh, instead of actual, is that what Ken is asking, instead of actual?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, I would like to see actual, but then I would also like to see what we budgeted last year as a comparison with the same figures, because the data that you have on the fiscal total expenditures 21, I mean, if you look at the 20, it's very different, right? Fiscal year 20,
yeah,
social work was like 16%, and if you look at now, it's down 6% of the total. So it would be nice to know what we budgeted for, because that establishes some of our priorities. The fact that we didn't spend it isn't necessarily our fault.
Right. So and Ken, I just want to, I'm going to reiterate what you said so that I have an understanding. You would like the regular budget spreadsheet that we use, but you would like to know what we budgeted and then where we are to date. Is that correct?
Well, no, just I would like to see the pie chart. That
oh, you want it in a pie chart?
Fiscal year 21, that sheet, I just want to see one similar with, I mean, you could even include them on the same sheet and make two graphs, just to see the comparison of what we budgeted for what we actually spent year to date. Because I know that we spent more than 10% in social service, or budgeted more than 10% in social services. So it'd be nice to see the budget just like you saw in fiscal year 2020 at the end of the year.
Okay.
But do that for the budget for 21.
Okay, and just remember, social services on the pie chart. Well, I guess that would make sense because there's Riding Cane in the social services on the pie chart, but in the budget it's really not. But Bob will work on this.
Yeah,
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, just duplicate the information off of the fiscal year 21 year to date and just put the budget numbers in.
Got it. Got it. Okay, we'll do a duplication. Okay. Any other questions on this or comments? Okay, then I would like to move to approve the, I'm looking for a motion. And I'm sorry, I lost my sheet. I am looking for a motion to approve the bills. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Johnson.
I heard Trustee Harney first. Trustee Johnson, would you like to be the second?
I'll be the second.
Okay. All right. I'll open this for discussion. Do we have any questions about the bills? I do know that there were 4 bills added because they came in late. Otherwise, are there any other questions about the bills payable?
Yes, for Aherns here.
Okay.
Why under general town fund did you pay to remove a tree in Richardson subdivision for $765?
Okay, we talked about that at last meeting. That is township-owned property. The tree was inset, not in the right-of-way, and the ComEd lines were running through the branches, and ComEd does not remove trees on property, only right-of-way. And so I had to have Davies come out and do it because our staff could not do it.
Was that on private property or was that on township property?
It's on our property that we own.
What street was that on?
Richardson. So we discussed this last time, Richard. A long time ago in a faraway land, we got property that is that floods off the Fox River, and we were given the property to maintain. This is, I don't know if this predates Trustee Harney. It definitely predates me, but it's because it's in a floodplain and we're the government body that it was given to own and maintain. So we have no structures on it. It just has trees. We do nothing with it. We don't cut the grass. But the tree was hanging in the electrical lines, and the electrical lines were connected to our neighbor's house. And so we were responsible for cutting down the tree.
On our property.
Correct.
God, why can't we do it ourselves then? Why do you have to hire? Because of the electric lines?
Yes, because of the electric lines, we had to bring in a specialist.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Trustee Harney, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. I read them all.
Trustee Schaffer, any questions?
Nope.
Trustee Johnson, any questions?
I had no questions.
Okay. Then I will have Bob take a roll call for this. Voice vote, please, Bob.
Trustee Harney,
Yes.
Trustee Aherns,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaffer,
No.
Supervisor Glees.
Yes. 4 yeses, 1 no. The bills will be paid. It passes. I also have 3 budget transfers. I ask you to please bear with me because I have to pull them up one at a time. Bob, I had 3 of them, right?
There's 4 actually.
Oh, I see. They're going page by page. Okay. So the first one is budget, is a line item transfer request number 90219-2020 open space. I am asking to move the account that count 0153649400 capital expense equipment is over budget by $4,518.69. I am asking to transfer amounts from the following amounts to that account. The first one is 0153548100 contingencies. That's $4,000.
Nope, Trish. That was the old one, not to interrupt you, but
Oh,
that's the one that the error was on and we need to correct it with 9A.
I gotcha. Sorry, guys. Let's start this all over again.
You want to do, well, can I do the brief explanation? And
Would you please? Because that would be so helpful while I pull up the other one.
Okay. What this one involves is strictly a correction for the financial audit. Budget transfer number 9 was actually done at the January 20 Board of Trustees meeting. What had happened is the meeting prior, we had updated Scott's budget due to the salt and other things. When I updated the computer version of the budget to add Scott's new expense levels, for whatever reason, the computer decided to also re-update the contingency line item for the open space group. And so when it came time to do a budget transfer for the capital equipment that they bought, it looked like we had $4,000 still in their contingency account. We did not. That account was already reduced to 0. So when the auditors looked at this, they say, well, that's an error because your contingency line item is going to show up as a negative 4,000. So if you wish, do a corrected budget transfer, which is the sheet 9A. And so we're asking that change is made, instead of taking the 4,000 from the contingency line item, we take it from the 3468 operation maintenance supplies. And again, this is for last year. It doesn't mean any actual transfer of money. No new things are going to be bought. It simply is a correction for the financial audit.
Telling me that number 9 is just no good. It was just information paper.
That's correct. That was just to show you what had happened, and 9A is the one that will correct that so that the audit shows with a clean bill of health.
And you're saying the computer got it mixed up from open space to the highway department?
No. When with the computer, without trying to get too detailed, when I enter numbers into the computer to increase the highway line items, then I have to hit a button that says update the budget. And when the computer updated itself, it correctly added all of the new amounts to Scott's budget. There were no errors there, but it erroneously went back to the original amount of money in this particular line item for the open space contingency fund. The 4,000 was the amount that was originally there in the budget. We used that money during the year, but the computer didn't take that out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so since this one is to fix a audit issue, Bob, I would like a single, I would like a single voice vote on this one.
You have to have a motion then first.
Oh, I need a motion for this first 9A budget transfer.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second. Johnson.
That was Trustee Johnson. Okay. Bob gave the discussion. We're all good. I believe we're all good unless anybody has any questions. Okay. Bob, can I get a voice vote on this?
Trustee Harney,
Yes.
Trustee Aherns,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaffer,
Yes.
Supervisor Glees.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now let's move on with my other budgets. Budget number 2, 2020-2021. My account 0150649400 capital outlay equipment is over budget by $8,999. I am asking to transfer that $899,000 from account 0150243903 senior or disabled riding cane. I guess I should have asked them for a motion for all of these. Do you want me to read them through and then do a motion?
That's fine.
Okay. Number 3 is account number 0150242300. Communications telephone is over budget by $648.18. I'm asking to transfer $4,000 from account 0150243903 senior disabled riding cane. My next one is number 4. My account 0150242600 utilities will be over budget by $3,000. I am asking to take $3,000 from account number 0150243903 senior disabled riding cane. Can I please have a motion?
Motion to approve all 3?
Yes.
Johnson, I'll move to approve all 3.
Okay, do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
second.
Trustee Harney. Okay, is there any discussion on items 2, 3, or 4 from the budget line item request transfer?
Johnson, on number 2,
Yes.
what is the driver in capital outlay equipment here? What does that reflect?
May I do it?
Yes, please.
What happened there, George, was again a budgeting error, so to speak. That represents the video surveillance cameras that were put in at the end of fiscal year 20. The money was budgeted in the fiscal year 20 budget, but the bill was not received until the March payables. So the bill accidentally or ended up rolling into this year's budget, and the capital expenditure money did not roll over from the prior budget when the board approved the new budget.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Trustee Schaffer, I just had a question of, do we have enough money in contingency rather than spending money out of the senior riding cane amounts? Because it's going to skew the statistics for some of our things when we look forward as far as the budget.
The answer is no, because I don't really have a contingency budget.
Right now we have 3,000 in the contingency fund total.
This is Johnson. Obviously, all of these anticipate seriously reduced spending in Ride and Cane.
Correct. That's why I picked that. I picked, right. I chose Ride and Cane looking at the heuristics of what 2020 and 2019 looked at versus 2021 and where we are down in what we're paying to PACE. So that's why I took it from that account.
I have no further questions.
Trustee Aherns, go ahead.
Under number 3, you're over only by $648.18, and you're asking for $4,000.
I am currently this month over $648.18. I'm going to be over every month without this. So instead of doing every month a budget transfer, I'm asking to do it now so that I can finish out the year without issue.
Thank you.
Trustee Harney, do you have any comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Trustee
I
Schaefer,
understand them.
Okay, Trustee Schaefer, any other questions?
No.
Okay, Bob, could I please have a roll call?
Okay, Trustee Harney,
Yes.
Trustee Ahrens,
Did you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we did hear you. Trustee Aherns?
was yes. Okay. Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer,
No.
Supervisor Glees.
Yes, seeing that there's 4 yays that those budget transfers transfer. I do not see any reason for executive session, nor was I asked to go into executive session. Therefore, it is
I would like to go into executive session.
Second that.
Okay, and for what grounds?
To discuss potential litigation.
Okay, just 1 minute. Let me pull that up. This is going to take a minute because I was not made aware of this and we have to get everything ready. Bear with me.
What was that one fellow's name that, this Ahrens again? They didn't get a chance to speak on the open meeting.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me see if I can get Mr. Kemp to get online. Thank you very much, Mr. Aherns, for catching that, trustee. Mr. Kemp, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and do you have any comments for the board?
While you're doing that, Mr. Ahrens has got a potty break.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking for the exact statute, so please bear with me. Kurt Asper, could you, because I'm having trouble finding my actual wording for this, do you have it off the top of your head that you can provide me for potential litigation?
Yeah, so this would be executive session pursuant to 2C11 for threatened or imminent or pending litigation.
2C11, thank you. Okay. All right, so we are going to go into executive session for 2C11. This is potential or imminent litigation. With that, I am going to put everyone but the trustees and the deputy clerk into the waiting room. Should you not want to wait to come back to general session, I bid you adieu and good night. So I will be releasing you back into the waiting room, starting with Mr. Kemp. You came up first. You're back in the waiting room. Mr. Assessor Bielak, you are back in the waiting room. Miss Meyer, you are back in the waiting room. Highway Commissioner Sinnett, you're back in the waiting room. Leaving Supervisor Glees, Attorney Ashford, Trustee Aherns, Trustee Johnson, Trustee Schaffer, Trustee Harney, and excuse me, and Deputy Clerk Block. I am going to stop the recording.
Trustee Aherns has returned.
I am starting this recording for a second time. This is for a motion to enter into the executive session to review, I'm sorry, for 2C11, pursuant to potential litigation, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, I need a motion.
I will make that motion, Trustee Schaefer.
Do I have a second?
Second, Johnson.
Okay, with that, could I please have a voice vote?
Trustee Harney,
Yes.
Trustee Aherns,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Glees.
No. I have just been texted by our other attorney, Carrie Lynn, Kafer, who's telling us we cannot go into a closed session because we do not have any pending litigation in front of us.
I disagree with that. This is Johnson. There is a threat. There's a threat that we discussed in the last executive session.
I know.
So we're in executive session now?
Nope, we're still recording.
Okay. We can go into executive session. We can figure out if there actually is some imminent litigation or threatened litigation. We don't have to discuss that right now. And then if there is no imminent litigation, we'll have to adjourn from executive session.
Okay. All right. With that, there were 4 ayes and 1 no. I'm going to stop the recording and we're going to go into executive session at this point. And we are in open session. I'm bringing the participants back in. I have 2 people in the waiting room and they are coming in now. Everybody is back in the waiting room. I am now there's no motion. We went back in. I am now looking for a motion to adjourn.
I do have a question before we do that. So on the budget report, the expenditures for up through September 14th, I'm just looking, if I'm not looking at the correct line item, you're going to have to let me know. But it's under the legal services for the Road and Bridge Fund. We had transferred $15,000 in, I don't know, May, June, sometime when all of this started, but I only see $212 into that account. So I'm not sure where the $15,000 went or came from or is still not transferred, and just trying to clarify that. And if it's a different account, let me know.
No, you're right. Apparently it did not go through. My error. I will correct it.
Your computer's playing tricks on you again, right?
Well, it's our accounting software, Ken. It's, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, we can, in the next budget cycle, we can talk about getting a more truthful, accurate, better accounting system, you know, should that be, you know, wanted. I mean,
Understood. No, I just wanted to sort of point it out.
all right. With that, I am still looking for a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. We need a roll call.
Oh, good. Could I get a roll call? Thank you, Trustee
Okay, who
Johnson,
was
for
the
keeping me
motion
on
and
track.
who was the
No,
second?
I don't think we made the motion yet. That was. in the
Nope, we
executive
don't have a
session.
motion. I need a first and a second.
I motion to adjourn. Johnson.
Trustee Johnson,
Aaron, second.
Trustee
Move
Aherns,
to adjourn.
and so did Trustee Harney, but I got Trustee Aherns first. All right. Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Harney,
Gomery.
Trustee
Yes.
Ahrens,
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Glees.
Yes. With that, I am going to stop the recording. Everyone have a good night. Stay safe, wear a mask. And if you do not have to go out, please stay home. Everyone, please be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.